Mr.
I was
President?
just now reviewing the budget.
Sure. You
This,
snooze, you lose.
I lose. The budget is something that, the council really doesn't take lightly, and I've said this numerous times, and I'm going to say it again. We've probably altogether, I think we spent 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 hours in collective meetings together in workshops, trying to figure out a way to save a few $1,000s, and where you're working with a multi-million-dollar budget. Sometimes we wonder if this is time well spent, but it is. That's our charge. And our most valuable assets, and we've said this in the past also, are our employees. And I think that our employees in the city of Moscow are some of the best that any city can have. We are lower in employees per 1,000 residents, as was shown on the graph. They deserve a pay raise when we can afford to do it. The question is, where does the money come from in order to do it? And one of the things that was the most contentious this year, as it was last year, is what do we do about property tax increases? And I think you'll see that this particular council over the last 4 years has taken extremely minimal, if not zero, property tax increases. This year, 0.5%, which amounts to
$2
less $2 a year on a $200,000 house. $2 per thousand. Okay. So that's a minimal increase. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion. I know that the council may want to go ahead and discuss this some more, but I will make a motion that we adopt the city's fiscal year 2012 budget, and that we authorize the mayor to execute the execution of the L2 property tax certification.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have Wayne's motion and Tom's second. Is there further discussion?
I just
Sue?
wanted to, maybe Don, I'm not sure if it's Don or Gary, you can make this point, but by the time you add up all of the police services, the whole police budget is how many $1 million?
If I may, for a moment.
Yeah.
Also for that motion, we also need the appropriation ordinance approved. So it isn't just approve the L2.
Okay. Would the maker of the motion like to include that?
We'll also make a motion to adopt the city's 2012 annual appropriation ordinance, too.
Under suspension
Under
of
the
the rules.
suspension of rules requiring 3 complete and separate readings, and that the ordinance be read by title and published by summary.
Thank you.
I'll second that inclusion.
Okay.
What I wanted to make the point is how much a year, how much will we collect in property taxes, and then how much is the police budget? And my point is that, as I understand it, the property tax doesn't even cover all that.
The property taxes for the general fund alone are $4,085,835. The property, the expenses for the police department, and Gary, I don't have my summary level sheets with me, but I believe
Because you have it divided up by parking services, 911 services, animal control operations, et
it's
cetera.
a
I want to
total
put
of
it all
all of
together.
those, yes. But I don't have the expense recap sheet. It's on the summary level sheets, and I didn't bring that up. But
Public safety includes fire, right?
And fire.
it's fire.
I know we know, but I want the public to know that we're,
Fire and engineering, yes, fire and engineering service as well. But I subtract that out when she's asked for just the public safety portion.
well, you
police
can
and
add fire. But basically,
But it's over
police and
$6
fire.
million.
Right. And what I'm saying is,
Total.
the property taxes that we collect from the city are
$6,024,910.
Okay.
Not bad.
So when people go, oh, my property taxes, oh, my God, what are you doing with the money? We're not even covering public safety.
That is correct,
So that's what I wanted people to know. Thank you very much.
yes.
Okay, is there other discussion? Walter?
Thank you, ma'am. I have commented in the past that I am amazed that cities can do annual budgets with no public input. And that's not meant to be a criticism of the public. It's also not meant to indicate that the public is just thrilled to death with the way the city's being run and the way we're doing our job sitting up here on the dais. I think it does possibly speak to the fact that we aren't doing things to irritate the public and that they're in here screaming, fix that pothole, or you didn't stop the fire at my neighbor's house before it burned mine down, or things like that. But it has to mean that we're hopefully doing some things right. I have said that I believe that the City of Moscow is extremely well managed. And that starts from the city supervisor and down through all of the employees, all the way through all the departments. I think we do a very good job of management, which is why, as Wayne says, when we get up here to talk about the budget in the limited 8 hours we do it, after 6 months of work by staff and the mayor, we're arguing about $2,000 or $13,000, or sometimes we get wild and argue about $25,000 out of a $50 million budget. 49,500.
Hey,
But who's counting? This also leads a little bit to my frustration that at one point during the budget discussions, I was looking for $13,000, I thought, to be able to not take any tax increase, and we did not find it. Maybe the will was not there, and that's okay. That's why we're elected. They have different opinions. But we were sitting there talking about $13,000 to take no property tax increase, and we couldn't find it. I can take $13,000 out of my personal home budget. It would not be pleasant. It wouldn't be fun, and I may not make some grandkid meet trips that I normally make, but I could take it out. So it goes a lot like the national budget situation. A lot of, stirring around, dust, feathers flying, and all that, and in the end, not a lot changes. But I do think the public is relatively happy with what we're doing in the city of Moscow. If they weren't, I wish they would come tell us. We get a lot less comment from citizens than I thought we ever would before I was elected. I'm, glad to get comments, criticisms. I don't know that the other council people get any more or less than I do. It's a remarkably small amount of input. But we've got a budget here of $49,555,000. I don't remember the rest of the digits that we're going to approve tonight, where we've spent some time stirring around over a few $1,000s. I'm very proud that our city taxes are less than Latah County's taxes. I'm proud that our employees per 1,000, as Wayne mentioned, are lower than Lewiston and Coeur d'Alene. I'm very proud that we have at times, while I've been on the council, not taken any tax increase, and at other times have taken minimal tax increases. I think just because the law allows you to take a tax increase doesn't mean you should. I just don't look at it that way. A lot of this is philosophical. Again, I would encourage the public to, next year, should they have any reason to want to look into it, come talk to us at the public hearing or before. Call us on the phone, email us, let us know that you think we're wasting money on this or not spending enough money on that, whatever the case may be. But it is the citizens' budget that is managed by the management of the city and legislatively set by this council. So we do appreciate the opportunity to do the people's work. I can only hope we're doing it to a majority of the people's satisfaction. Thank you, ma'am.
Other discussion or comments? Okay. I'd just like to thank the city employees who do the good work every day for providing the quality municipal services we do. And I think the responsiveness of employees one-on-one to citizen concerns, the responsiveness of elected officials, everyone up here, I think, to citizen concerns. We do try to reflect the best interests of our community as a whole, and this budget ideally reflects that as well. There are some wants that we couldn't fund, but we will continue to work incrementally toward the best solutions we can and always do the best job. But as you've heard others say here, it's very important to weigh in. We can only do what we know, so please inform us so that we can respond accordingly. So we have Wayne's motion, we have Tom's second for approving this, as well as authorizing my execution of the City of Moscow property tax certification, the L2, in the aggregate amount of $4,671,590, and that the L2 be forwarded to Latah County. He also mentioned reading this by title and publishing by summary. Any other questions before voting? Okay, hearing none, we'll start the roll call vote with Walter.
Thank you, ma'am. Aye.
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 That motion carries unanimously. And so we have ordinance number 2011-10, an ordinance entitled Annual Appropriation Ordinance, appropriating money for the purpose of defraying all necessary expenses and liability of the City of Moscow, Latah County, State of Idaho, for the fiscal year beginning the first day of October 2011 and ending the 30th day of September 2012, and allotting resources by fund for said appropriation for the objects and purposes set forth in this ordinance, providing that the provisions of this ordinance be deemed severable, providing for this ordinance to be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and publication according to law. Thank you.